So, you don't say. Switch 2 third-party games flop as at launch while Nintendo titles dominate sales. You mean people are going to play Mario Kart and the new like the revamped, or not really revamped, but Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, now that they can run at like 60 frames, you're saying people rather play those than whatever third-party game? You don't say. That's Nintendo. Nintendo's not exactly known for having great third-party games, and most people, when it comes to third-party games, they'd rather just, basically stick with PC or one of the other consoles, because other games, when they're ported or whatever to Nintendo, whether it be the Switch or now Switch 2, they always get hit with a downgrade. So, but who knows? Maybe those titles won't be so bad this time. I mean, I think I saw a comparison between one title over the span of the from PC to Xbox to PlayStation, Switch 2. It was basically at the same level as them, but Nintendo's not exactly known for great third-party games. When people play, it's usually Mario, Zelda, Donkey Kong, Splatoon, Metroid, Super Smash Brothers, Star Fox, Kirby, what other ones? Like big name titles. But Animal Crossing. Actually, I wonder. I'm sure it will. I'm sure it will be Animal Crossing. The last one looked pretty good, and people really loved it, and I think people still play it. But I mean, hopefully we get like a Mario Maker or something like that. But yeah, third-party games not exactly known for being popular on on Nintendo. But a new report from the game business, authored by respected industry analyst Chris Dring. I completely read that wrong in my mind. Sheds light on early sales trends for the recently launched Switch 2, and the numbers reveal a stark divide between Nintendo's first-party success and third-party struggles. Because third parties aren't going to want to work with them. They really don't, because again, whenever they port something over, it takes a huge hit. And it's like, well, why would they play it on the Switch when they could just play it on the PC and have it run better and have it play better? The Switch 2, even now, is still far behind, not far behind, but still behind what current stuff can do. It's just, why would you want something that's basically like a generation behind, even in consoles? Like with the handhelds, that's typically what it is. It's like a console or so behind. But when this is a main console, it should not be behind. It should be current, up to date. The Switch 2 should be able to do everything that all the other consoles can do and more. Nope. This thing should basically be a small laptop. Or basically like even phones can run games better than Nintendo does half the time. According to launch data from Nielsen IQ, a staggering 86% of physical game sales for Switch 2 in the UK were Nintendo published titles. A figure heavily influenced by the inclusion of Mario Kart World. Which I think, hang on. Now, checking to see if ZFG was doing some Mario Kart. No, but it looks like he's going for this again. Okay, so it looks like he did fail. He's doing the 5 hit or the 5 heart run. So I guess he did get I guess he failed before. Because this is a new run. Because when I came in, he had the bracelet, he had lens, he had beans, he had ice arrows. So he had to start. So it looks like he failed. And then usually after he fails, he'll play Mario Kart for a little bit. Him and his, viewers will play with him. In the game, I mean. I want you guys to play with me. In the game, right? When excluding the bundle, Nintendo still accounted for 48% of game sales, showing a strong hold on consumer interest even without pack-in assistance. In the U.S., data from Circana indicated a similar trend. 68% of game sales were first-party titles, again excluding the Mario Kart bundle. While these numbers are slightly lower than the launch of the original Switch, the first-party games made up 89% of UK sales and 81% in the US. The Switch 2 debuted with a significantly larger library of games, which make the first-party dominance all the more notable. Cyberpunk tops third party, but most publishers struggle. Among third-party offerings, Cyberpunk 2077 Ultimate Edition emerged as the best-selling non-Nintendo title at launch. The success is partially credited to including the full game on a physical cartridge, in contrast to the unpopular game key card format used by most other third-party games. The key game cards provide a download code inside the case, rather than a playable cartridge. Something many collectors and physical media fans have rejected outright. Sega performed relatively well, becoming the third largest third-party publisher on the platform at launch. Titles like Sonic X Shadow Generations, Yakuza 0 Director's Cut, Puyo Puyo Tetris, Tetris 2S, helped the company carve out a modest presence. Puyo Puyo. I like those games. However, not all publishers are pleased with the results. One unnamed third-party executive told the game business that launch sales came in below our lowest estimates, despite what they described as remarkably strong hardware sales for the system itself. Why are third-party games underperforming? There appears to be multiple factors contributing to underwhelming third-party performance. Nintendo first, everything else second. As history has shown, many consumers purchase Nintendo hardware specifically for Nintendo games. You don't say. This trend seems intact with Switch 2, even more so given the strength of Mario Kart World. Backward compatibility dulls urgency. The Switch 2 is full of backward compatibility with original Switch titles. Many of those legacy games run better on the new hardware, reducing the urgency for customers to buy new releases, especially ports of older titles. Like I said, Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, people are pretty happy now that the game's running at like 60 frames per second, which is what they should have been running. You know, the games came out, 2017 or something like that? Even back then, even 2017, games were still like running at 60 frames. And yet Nintendo, always behind the curve when it comes to games, it was like running at 30. It's like, Nintendo, do you not listen to what people want? Yes, most times, frames don't really matter. But when you're pushing out new hardware and you're still only running games at 30 frames per second, so that way when there's, lag spikes or, some kind of issue, it's going to be more noticeable. It's like playing an MMO. Like, it's like I play WoW, right? Normally I'm getting like, I don't know, 150 frames, So if something happens and I get into a dungeon or something, I might take a hit in frames, but it's still well over 60 frames. So I'm still having that nice, smooth experience. As opposed to playing the game and, say, having, 40, 50 frames, right? For the, that's all you can do. And then you go someplace populated, or you go into a dungeon, and then suddenly it goes from 50 to like 20. So having higher frames also helps the smoothness of the game. In certain places where there might be a lot of stuff loading in, it helps it continue to play smooth. Rather than, it's like, oh gee, I love playing slideshows. It's just so fun. Recycled content. A large number of third-party Switch 2 games are ports or re-releases of games that players have already experienced years ago on the other platforms, offering little incentive for repurchase. GameKey Backlash, set of cartridges widely disliked among Nintendo fan base, which is stupid. Why would you buy a box with just a fucking code in it? That's stupid. Um, Review embargo frustrations. Nintendo chose to withhold Switch 2 hardware from reviewers until the last minute, leaving both media outlets and consumers unable to properly evaluate the quality of third-party ports ahead of release. What comes next? While still early in the console's life cycle, the writing on the wall suggests that third-party publishers may have an uphill battle on Switch 2, particularly if Nintendo continues to dominate the release calendar. With highly anticipated exclusives like Donkey Kong Bonanza and Pokemon Legends ZA set to arrive later this year, it may be harder for outside publishers to capture attention. Frankly, I hope all third-party developers avoid Nintendo at this point because it's clear Nintendo doesn't care about them. Nintendo doesn't care about third-party publishers. Or the customers, they only care about the whales. People buy third-party games on PC. Party games on PC. Nintendo machines are for Nintendo games, and the only exclusives for the Switch 2 is Mario Kart World. Yeah, like I said, there's like, when it comes to third-party games and all that, it's just better to get them on a different console or PC. You think you're gonna have a nice, smooth experience playing that game on a Switch or Switch 2 now? No. Again, Nintendo is always like a generation behind with everything. It shouldn't be. Look how long, like, all these other consoles have had, smooth 60 frames and all that for ages now, and Nintendo is just now getting to that point. So, why waste your time and money on a game like that on the Switch 2 when you can just get it for Xbox or PlayStation or PC and play at a smooth 60 frames? But what is it, Adam? I know you agree, don't you? You're like, Grandpa, how can I agree? I'm a cat. Come here. Come here, you little shit. Come here, you little furry little bastard. Mwah. What? I'm gonna bite your face. Mwah. What? Are you a handsome boy? Mwah. Hello, Potato Chan. She's back there too. What do you think, Adam? Do you think that people should waste their time and money on third-party games for a Nintendo Switch 2, despite the fact that it's probably not going to be nearly as fun or run as optimally as it should? What's that? You think they should just stick with PC? And they have modding options. Well, I mean, you heard it straight from the cat's mouth. PC does offer modding options. But, yeah. No one's really buying Nintendo for third-party games like that. You have some third-party like Sonic and stuff, but, most of the time it's Mario, Zelda, Donkey Kong, Kirby, Star Fox, even though Star Fox really doesn't seem much to be a thing anymore. Metroid, Pokemon, the names, the main titles. If someone wants to play Hitman, or no, Hitman, what was the title name? I saw it. Hitman, what? I saw it. Hitman World of Assassination. If you want to play that, you're not going to be playing on the fucking Nintendo. You're not going to be using the Switch 2 to play Hitman. No, it's going to be on one of the other consoles that can actually run it properly. But it's pretty sad that Nintendo, again, this is something you expect from the handhelds, not from a main console. The fact that it's taken this long for them to get up to a point where they can run a game at 60 frames But anyway, that's gonna do it for me. You guys know the drill. I'll see you guys later. Bye, guys.